kill you.
And with that lovely welcome from Birdo Hate Prey,
Right.
you know,
Oh my.
who hates this show more than anything, I think.
Yeah, I was watching the third time. Well, I got the credits, I got the tail end, but Bird and LDG were watching it together in the underground, and so then I came in there, and LDG and I had a good conversation. Bird wasn't there because he was busy. He had already started working on his review, which I'm sure will eviscerate the episode as he normally does. So.
Oh, the hate flows through him.
Yes, it does.
If he isn't Kurogan, he's definitely Sith at this point.
Although what's interesting is the USS New Jersey makes an appearance, and Kuroga is in New Jersey. So there's that.
Kuroga is in New York, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's the New Jersey of New York. So it's so Miss Moneypenny is in the house first in the chat. Some idiot named the Dork Knight who wouldn't talk to us but was all over the chat was also in the chat.
Because it's all about the people, baby. It's all about the people.
Thomas Potts is here saying it's a great episode, therefore I must have hated it. Well, we'll get into that. Some brilliant guy named Salty Trekker and is also here. Patrick is interested in our opinions. Holton is here.
You came to the wrong place, buddy. You came to the wrong
that's
place.
Definitely the wrong place for that. Deej is here saying, let the shilling begin. Shilling commences starting at $4.20 an hour. Link
$4.20
in the description. Yeah.
Does that mean I get to smoke on this stream? Do I get to smoke on this stream?
No.
I'm kidding. That was a joke. Calm down.
But yeah, only if someone super chats 420, I'll let you take one puff.
Waste your money, people. Send it to me.
No. They gotta send it to me, and your reward is you get one puff. So the shilling is fully accepted.
Hey, Deej, man. I mean, just be prepared. Be prepared.
And speaking of Bird O'Hate, he's I just got a text message from him. And I'm going to violate privacy here by reading it to you guys. And it says, do I have permission to come on, or is that an abuse of power?
Oh no, I can't. I don't know if I can handle that. I'm a heart attack survivor.
Okay.
Although if you want some entertaining television, you probably ought to have him on, because
I'll tell you what. How about this? If it gets too much, you have the right to veto.
Oh God! Oh, you're putting it on me. Okay.
Yes.
We could bring him in for final thoughts.
Yeah, there you go. I like Jason's
There we go.
idea. Yeah, that's
okay.
That's
so Bird, if you're listening, how about this? We'll get our initial stuff out, and then we'll bring you on so that Danny doesn't completely freak out when you want to argue with him on every point. I know some of the stuff you're going to probably want to talk about, and I'll probably mention some of the same things you will. But absolutely, we'll bring you on a little later if that's okay.
Yeah.
So you can let me know if that's all right with you, buddy.
Yeah.
And if he's going to be butthurt, as long as he promises not to be insulting, I can disagree with people.
No, we're not talking about the other person.
Okay.
Whose name we shall not mention.
He who shall not be named, but is no longer around.
Who shall not be named. We're not talking about him. Bird usually sticks to the issues. He doesn't go personal.
Right on.
That he just said may or may not be here, but fine with him if he's still here.
Yeah.
So
all right, well,
yeah, Bird does usually have an early bedtime. That's the only thing I think.
Oh well, I guess whenever we could.
All right,
we do our hot takes, and then he can hop on.
All right, we'll bring him on up to the hot takes. All right, so so with that, then Danny.
You clearly don't follow me on Twitter. I'm live tweeting the show. I'm basically blowing Terry Metalis. I loved this episode. It's my new favorite episode, and I say that every week, which is awesome. I haven't looked forward so much to Star Trek on television, like in real time. Good Lord, since 90s, the entire decade of the 90s for sure, and then maybe a couple of years in the early aughts. But we were spoiled for so long. I mean, we had like if you were of a certain age and you got to experience like at least the decade of the 90s of Star Trek, you were just spoiled, man. We had next gen series on television. We had movies coming out of the original cast. It was just a great time to be alive as a Star Trek fan. And I haven't felt this way, God, in a long time, man. It feels good. In over 20 years, probably 25 years. I love it. Now, specifically, my hot take on this episode, it's a lot freaking happens in this episode, and it's very well done. I love the pacing. Everything was very well executed. There was a lot of setup and payoff. There was a lot of payoff from earlier setup. The sense of urgency in this episode, because the stakes are raised so high now. I can't say it. I've already watched it 3 times. Plus, I did the slideshow. I'm gonna watch it again when we're done talking about it. Probably. So many Easter eggs. So many. He's like, oh my God, don't play Easter egg drinking game in this episode, because you're not gonna make it like 15 minutes in, if that. You'll be on the floor passed out easily.
You couldn't even supplement,
Yeah.
pop for this, because you'd be dying. In the
Yeah.
corner.
So
But
that's my hot
nothing
take.
is safe.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So that's it in a nutshell.
All right.
So my quip is, I've got starships. All your arguments are invalid.
Oh my God. The Starship one.
Look, the thing that I was the most concerned with, which I became extremely happy about, was when we get to the museum, and to make fun of the whole shtick that was going on for a while, there's no 25% different. There's no 10% different. There's no difference. Whoever it was that they paid to do up these models,
dude, they brought back.
Nailed
They brought back the people, man.
they nailed it. The Voyager looked like the Voyager exactly as we
God, it looked
generally
gorgeous, didn't
remember it.
Oh God,
The
yeah.
bird of prey, the big I'm gonna butcher that name.
Katinga.
Katinga, yeah, there we go. I poisoned everybody.
Did you see the Enterprise NX-01? They had the Intrepid. I really wish they'd. I mean, God, this episode could have been another 10 minutes for me, because there were so many ships they didn't go over.
And that opening shot with the buoy that we're gonna see here in a minute, one of those ships absolutely looks like a Neo Excelsior.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, that just from that angle, from the top down angle, that ship looked absolutely excellent.
Yeah, that's I believe that's our second slide.
Yeah, and for me, because we've all pointed at the fact that the abuse of the ships in the Star Trek properties and not treating it as a character is a problem. This kind of attention to detail does, for me at least, does matter, because it means that they're not just caring about one aspect of it. They understand that this is a total package. So for me, this was a great episode. A little heavy on the berries again, but honestly,
dude, but they
look,
so
it's
these are the definition of roddenberries, because they all further the story. They all have, like the whole reason they don't just talk about Star Trek 4 because, let's talk about Star Trek 4 and feel good. They talk about it because it gives the kid the idea, oh shit, I can steal the cloaking device. So it served a purpose. It wasn't just fan service.
Well, and for me, the fact that so many of the other berries were all stuffed up in the what was effectively a Section 31 repository.
Yeah, Area 51 of Section 31.
Yeah, exactly. For me,
I didn't come up with that. Somebody else did. I don't remember who.
It was an easy hand wave for me once I realized what was going on. I'm like, yeah, they're crazy. We know they're crazy, so they're going to store whatever they can.
Yeah. Oh, dude, and it gets crazy. Like some of it, like I actually have a problem with like 2 of their things, but we'll get into that.
Yeah. Michael,
sounds like you enjoyed it though. Good stuff.
No, I hated it every minute.
Now here's the part. Okay, guys, let's strap in. Hold up.
Yeah. I'll just Hold on to my mic arm.
Yeah.
I kind of felt about this episode the way you felt about The Mandalorian yesterday. I thought it was good enough.
Okay.
I didn't hate it, but I do think that okay. So when it comes to the shipyard, to Geordie's working at the museum, um, I'll give that one a complete pass because yes, it was nice seeing all the classic ships, especially the fact that they didn't alter them up, that we didn't see like for the USS New Jersey, it wasn't the Strange New World style Enterprise as much as I like that ship.
Oh, dude,
Although
I
you know what
really
would have been interesting is if they had the classic Connie and the Strange New Worlds Connie to kind of make them both canon in the same continuity. That would be weird.
Hell yeah, no. This guy, he did it perfect because there was no way to do Enterprise because Kirk blew it up in Star Trek 3. But
no. I'm saying,
but to show the same style
and the Strange New Worlds, a Strange New World style ship.
We don't want that. We don't want that. This is not that. That's a different universe, bro.
We don't know that.
Well, you know what? This show kind of, I don't want that in this. That's why I like this.
I understand you don't want that, but
you want that?
But we need clarification in universe to what's going on here. Because
so you think they're gaslighting us? They're just never going to tell us?
Well, because keep in mind that in Picard season 1, we did see the Strange New World style Enterprise.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, let's carry on.
So you see that so like, yeah, there's some.
We say this. I feel like I say this every week. I've purposely deleted seasons 1 and 2 from my mind.
Well,
and you can because they bring up he's a damn robot so damn much. I'm actually kind of mad at Brian because when I asked him point blank, do they talk about him being an android or not?
Yeah, they mentioned it like
bro.
5
He's
times.
Like, nah, bro. It's not gonna. Well, they mention it like more than once in this episode.
Yeah, it's
alone.
A major part.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's been enough things come up that if you are an over inquisitive watcher of shows, you're going to want to go back and watch them, and you're going to probably hate yourself.
No, don't.
No. I know. I'm just saying.
I can give to anybody. If you haven't seen the first 2 and you love The Next Generation, watch season 3 and do not waste a second of your life on seasons 1 or 2.
I would still maintain the Strange New Worlds is a far better show overall. I think that this show is the best.
Really?
Yes, really. Absolutely.
We got to talk about that.
Strange New Worlds is more Star Trek than this show.
We reviewed Strange New Worlds together, and I loved the majority of Strange New Worlds. I think there were like 1 or 2 episodes. I didn't hate any of them, but like there were only 1 or 2 that didn't blow my skirt up. But this season of Picard, it's not even freaking, dude. It's not even freaking close. It's like it's scores beyond Strange New Worlds. It's orders of magnitude better than Strange New Worlds. You're out of your effing mind.
What's so much better? Just because
they respect? No. Because there's a lot actually. Let's get rid of. Okay. So we got the people that we like, but we got new compelling characters that I'm interested in, that I care about, whose names that I know, who like now it looks like Jack and
Worlds.
It's not this good, man. I don't like the format of Strange New Worlds. They do that
episodic.
Well, yeah, it's that's not what I mean, but like they do it like it's always like somebody's point of view. It's always a different person's point of view each episode. Have you noticed that? I mean, Pike has the most, but we still haven't got one of the pilot whose name eludes me at the moment.
Season 2. They've already.
Yeah, I know that. So, but no, we don't have to lower one to raise the other. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's fair. I think they're apples and oranges, man. It's apples and oranges. This is the start. What I'm getting now is the tech that I love, the art design that I love, the characters that I love, who are introducing and clearly passing the torch to other characters
you like
who
the
can easily
design.
You know what's funny? I'm actually cluing into here. Oh no, I got an idea on this one. See, the age differences here are just right.
Yeah.
So that Mike absolutely grew up on TOS. I watched it in syndication, and we all started out for sure on TNG.
Yeah.
So the difference is we're gravitating towards the thing that makes us feel like the warm blanket of a mother.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I've said. It's like wrapping up
Yeah.
in a warm blanket.
So,
man.
and the funny thing is because I'm kind of towards the middle, and I saw TOS a lot before I saw TNG. I have an appreciation for it enough that right now I'm I'm at a draw. I don't know which of the two
Well-
seasons I like more.
So
I
here's
don't know if I like this season of Picard or first season of
Strange New Worlds.
Yeah,
So
don't know.
So I do want to say, my mom is in the chat, can verify this. I actually, even though I'm younger, the reason I pretty much am what I am, the person I am, is because when we had a VCR. We weren't rich or anything, but my dad, made decent money, so we had like a VCR early on when they were like $700. And the only stuff I had to watch, so my mom would record episodes of Star Trek onto like VHS tape, because they always played it in syndication, and she was like very detailed, highly organized about it, right? So like if we wanted to watch whatever episode we wanted to watch, we look, and then she had like the timestamp, because the VCR, like, you have to fast forward it, but it still shows you like the time or whatever.
Yeah.
So I grew up on that, and the other VHS tape we had was Star Wars, the original, just Star Wars.
The 3 movies, yeah.
No, just Star
Hope.
Wars. Well,
Yeah.
it was the VHS
Not
tape
New
only
Hope
said
yet,
Star
yeah.
Wars. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I watched those like kids watch, YouTube today, man. I was just constantly watching. I had this toy box, this football toy box. I would pretend it was a shuttlecraft and stuff. It was like I was just totally into it. And then I got lucky because I guess I was 9 or 10 whenever Next Gen started, and that was like family night. We'd eat dinner together and watch Star Trek. It was
Well,
awesome.
and that's exactly, it's those little things that drive it, and that's for me, that's why a lot of new Star Wars content feels that way for me as a parent, because that was something I did with Matthew as he was growing up. So we tend to be very, we get very attached to either styles or current
in the lore, like this. Oh God, the design. If this doesn't get nominated for an Emmy, there's no justice in the world. I mean, the art direction, the Jesus, man, for the budget they did, because they did not have a huge budget. They were, now I see why they're reusing the bar so much, because they had to save their money for the end, to make all these ships look good, man.
Yeah.
But, God, they look good. Sorry.
Anyway, so back to what I was trying to say. So I actually do give the museum a pass, even though I was disappointed that we only saw exterior shots of the museum. I really would have liked to have seen something inside one of those starships. That there was like,
that's more money though, man. They got to build another set or
I
repurpose
understand
another
that's
one.
more money, but it's also, if you're going to do, like you even mentioned, the one and only truly organic member berry in this episode was the.
I wouldn't say it was the one and only, but we.
It was the one and only. Was the HMS Bounty and the cloaking device.
Yeah.
Because that actually did play into the story. It advanced the plot. As opposed to them sitting around pointing at the different ships and naming them, was just member berries. That's all it was.
Dude, it was beautiful. I
didn't say it wasn't beautiful.
I choked up.
It was just member berries. It didn't service the plot. It was fan service through. That's all it was.
But what's wrong with that, man? It was like, it was a scene 2 minutes. You know what I mean? It wasn't long enough for me. I know that.
Look, I told you I gave that whole scene a pass because it was beautiful. However, my only problem with it was that this was not the first time in the series we got crap like this. This isn't even the first time this episode we got crap like this. Okay, so and this will not be the last time this episode we get crap like this.
Give it to me. I did. You know what I regret? I did not go through the credits to see if they changed anything for.
No, and the other thing was, okay, so then we go to Starbase member berry, and that's all Daystrom was. was freaking Starbase member berries. Everything on that freaking Starbase was a member berry. Even the music, by the way, which I figured out long before they threw it at you what it was. And the only reason I knew what it was is because I decoded it from the credits from before, because I'm a musician myself.
Oh, the bar music that was on the.
Yeah, it was
it was the sheet music. I should say it was on there.
I figured it out. Oh, it's Pop Goes the Weasel. So as soon as he started saying the notes, I'm like, okay, it's Pop Goes the Weasel.
Yeah.
But
dude, what's wrong with this? So God, it's so good. Okay, so basically, we can sum up your hot take as member berries, huh? Is that?
The problem is there's good member berries. Was the Shipyard. Bad member berries was Daystrom.
So that's what I like. This is the distinction
and by the
Brian
way,
makes.
Data, walking freaking member berry machine, and I wanted to punch him every time he was on screen.
Jesus, man, why do you hate yourself? I mean,
I don't hate
all right, so those are our hot takes. If you don't mind, because we were doing pretty decent today, I'd like to take a second to say hi to people, in the chat.
Sure. And while you're doing that, I'm going to get the link over to Bird so that.
All right, cool. So we had I can do that through here. So I think we had my mom first, as per the usual. Hey, Mom, what's up? That's Penny, for those of you not in the know. Thomas Potts was next in the house. Then we had 47 Yorktown. Hello, sir. Of course, Jason Patrick, Holton, Deej Odyssey. Let the shilling begin. Gorilla's Random Thoughts. Thank you for joining us, everybody. Joe's Atmosphere, my buddy Kristen. Let's see. Bird of Prey, of course. Sirstus. Thank you for retweeting my stuff out on Twitter. Got Alex Moore in the house. And I think, did I miss anybody? I think that's everybody. No, the lovely Sherry. There we go. And
I'm glad lovely Sherry points out that she's lovely. Otherwise,
she is. Oh, yeah. And we got Lancer 737 in his house. Let's see. SVS Guru 2000. Thank you guys for joining us so much. If you got any questions or want to get involved or just tell Salty how terribly wrong he is, just throw him a super chat. And yeah. So anyways, I'm all caught up on the chat, buddy. Did you get that link ready? We good to go to share this?
He's sitting back there, yeah.
Yeah, Bird's backstage.
Oh, you got admin access?
Wow. Just co-host.
Wow.
Just co-host.
Wow. Yeah, he's not an admin.
We've been playing around with all kinds of interesting things, looking at different products too, actually, a little bit. Just
see how it is. I'm training my replacement. It's okay. It's fine. I get it.
Well, the official policy here at Salty Trekker Studios, you got to pass a drug test in order to get.
I have a doctor's note, sir, and a medical marijuana card.
Oh yeah, well, you still got to pass the test. This is a private institution, sir.
He's just trying to appeal to his international audience. That's the only reason I'm here.
Yeah.
Hey, Bird, how you doing,
Bird?
Hey, Bird.
Hello. I forgot why I'm here.
To talk about Picard. So we're going to start this kind of a slide thing. We're going to do our thing that we do every week, and you're just going to be here to shit all over it, and it'll be fun. Right, guys? Isn't that what we...
Maybe I enjoyed this episode.
Yeah,
oh, hell yeah, dude. Maybe you did. Maybe you did. Maybe you did.
You probably spent an hour and 45 minutes talking about how awesome it was.
Well, let's see. Let's find out.
Right, Bird?
Maybe.
He doesn't want to bury the lead.
It's not impossible. You can't prove he didn't. Well, you could prove he didn't by going and watching it.
Look, to everybody giving me grief, that's the second or third time I've seen that now, about not having shaved, even though Jason did, and apparently Bird as well. Look,
yeah, everybody looks good
chicks
today.
No. I'm telling you, this is that Rob Lowe stubble, man.
How many chicks matter?
My chick, she likes this. She says,
no, she does not.
No, she doesn't like it when it gets too long.
You want me to text her right now?
Oh, she's probably. Well, I sent her the link. She should be watching.
I'll text her right now. Okay, let's. Okay.
Yeah, ask her this. Do you like the Rob Lowe stubble or the
Rob Lowe stubble,
or what's the other guy? The oh god, because I gotta have faith. What's his name? George Michael. He did the same thing. Yeah, he did the same thing. Remember, you keep the stubble, like Razor Ramon, man. Chico, come on.
Razor Ramon. Oh man,
Check
there's
this
a
out.
throwback.
You know, I actually I have the box for this too. I should not have taken it out, but I have this on my desk.
Is that a Christmas order?
Hey, Cece, how you doing?
Yeah, but you'd be amazed at like these people.
Not too bad. Hey,
Like
so,
I have one that's like.
so are
worth
you watching the
$400
show
bucks.
right now?
No, not yet. Why? What's up?
Oh wow, you're you
Well,
see,
let her know she's on.
we're on the show right now, just so you know they can hear you.
Okay.
All right, so here's the deal. Danny says you know how he's got like a couple days stubble on his face right now.
The Rob Lowe.
He
the
says
Rob
you
Lowe
like
stubble.
that better than when he's babyface smooth. Is that true?
No.
Yep. See,
Oh,
told you,
wow.
Danny.
You were rubbing your hands on my cheeks and like you were saying you liked it and stuff. So were you just?
He says you were rubbing your hands on.
You were
his
just
cheek.
entertaining me,
It was
weren't
the
you?
bottom cheek, hon.
It was the bottom cheek she was rubbing. She says, "Well, so you got no hair on your butt."
I can't right now. All right, guys. Yeah.
There we go. We just learned something new about him. All right. Thank you, Cece. I just wanted to make sure that I knew more about your relationship than he did.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
All right. You take care.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, that's the live embarrassment segment over.
Yes. I think we embarrassed both Bird and Danny.
Bird's like, I don't even know why I am here anymore at all.
Oh goodness. Bird's probably getting his beard on so that he can Danny ran off to shave.
Yeah.
Uh,
I didn't sign up for commenting on how other guys look.
oh, sorry, Bird. Well, usually you comment on how other guys look.
Not that often.
You were doing it the other day on your thing. What were you talking about? Probing guys on your alien show?
No, okay. I don't know what you saw, but
I saw your show.
You know, I contemplated for a second shaving, and I'm like, you know what? No, she should have been honest with me. Instead of
She
telling me what I
was
want to hear. No, she told me what I want to hear.
you're right. You should punish her by not shaving.
Yes,
That's what I'm
because
gonna do.
that'll teach you.
I'll shave tomorrow. Jesus, man. I'm not
Cut
going
her
to leave
off.
this. Hey, are we going to start this? You're going to share my screen or what? You're making me do this. All right. What just happened here? Oh, I'm going too fast.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you're like skipping ahead.
Shush. All right. Are we good now? Everybody going to behave? Hey, if Bird's just like a little small production advice, if Bird's not going to be on camera, you should put him at the bottom. That way, when you pop up chats, it's
Yeah.
not covering Jason's face. It's covering.
Put me
him.
on the bottom.
Yeah.
Bird likes being on the bottom.
Oh, he's definitely.
I like
he's a
not
power
loving.
bottom.
I don't like having the camera on all the time.
Yeah.
I
No,
feel
no,
like
for sure.
they're spying on me.
So,
We are spying on you, Bird. 'cause we have another camera in the house. Mom will pray set it up for us.
do what?
Uh,
Oh, we have another camera in his house. He doesn't know about it.
Oh. Anyway, I should put this on Do Not Disturb. Let's do that. All right. So we start out opening shot. We get this USS Titan. What's this thing called? Like a buoy or something, or communication?
It's a false transponder, I think they
signal
said.
beacon or
Yeah, I have
Yeah,
I have the clip paused with the subtitles.
transponder.
Yeah.
beacon.
So we
Yeah.
get we opening shot. We see this transponder, and then boom, 3 ships zoom in on it. And which one of those are you thinking is the Excelsior class? The one on the bottom right?
Bottom right, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And the
can see
top
that.
right, I would call that some kind of Neo Reliant class type, or Miranda
the
class. Sorry,
Bottom right was a sovereign.
That's a sovereign on the bottom right.
I thought it was. I don't know.
It looks
Well,
like
we're guessing. We're
Mom
guessing.
will be
here.
a sovereign though.
Yeah, I think
It
that's
could-
it.
It
An
could be a
Excelsior.
sovereign or like an up, but yeah, there's so many models they have to choose from now because of all the
Yeah.
work with the Star Trek Online.
And this, I don't even know what that is. That's an it's the one that looks like the NX-01. Is that a Akira class? Is that what that's called? The
one on the
No.
left, no,
Yeah, the
no,
one
that's
on the
something
left.
else we've never seen before.
Okay. All right. Well
Yeah.
then and this is just the beginning of the ship porn people. Just be
Oh, yeah.
prepared. Speaking of ship porn, and then this I found interesting because now it's just so blatant that those 3 ships are being overran by changelings, because there's 3 Starfleet ships, and then boom, we cut to the Shrike right onto
Yeah.
the buoy. So they're like all in, which we'll kind of get to later. And that's terrifying if you think about it, man. Like what's happened to all these, like they have to be killing the people every time when they're replicating them. This is like a Secret Wars. Anyway.
Well, you
That's
remember
crazy.
they talked about they did talked about something to do with the transporters. Like the transporters are doing things to people.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, they could be slipping in their ooze during transport.
During
The
transport.
majority had no problem using it. That's
Yeah, well, he hasn't been infiltrated by. It's just him, and as far as we know, so far it's just him and his daughter. He's just running a museum.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's got like
yeah,
staff, but I
there's
doubt they
3
give a
people
shit about
living
a
on
museum.
space dock. Why not?
You know,
That's
Excellent use of resources.
yeah.
Well, it is a
Says thousands of
post scarcity
people.
world.
yeah. So
He
there's
does say
that.
thousands of people come by every day.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's a museum. You know what I mean? I don't
Yeah.
think like let me ask you something. If North Korea wanted to invade us, are they gonna bother with the museums? No, I don't think so. I don't think they're gonna come. I don't think they're gonna try to infiltrate people and get undercover people at a freaking museum.
Yeah, but do you think
they're gonna do it
staff-
in like government stuff and
But do you think they're going to staff a military museum with dozens of military grade ships with 3 people?
But they're all decommissioned, so they're not loaded. They're and that's why. Okay. Oh, and guys, you know what's in B12? You know what's in Hangar B12? Spoiler alert! Because if you don't know,
I'm sure it's the Enterprise D.
it's the Enterprise F, because we've been getting that Easter egg that they earlier that they're decommissioning the Enterprise F.
Oh,
So
that's right.
it's currently in B12 being decommissioned. It's not, and that's
Okay,
why there was
But
that
if these
empty.
ships are all inoperable, how do they manage to steal an operable cloaking device?
I didn't say they weren't. I didn't say they were inoperable.
Well, then they're good military vessels. aren't they?
I said they didn't have any ammunition on them. They didn't have any weapons. Like there's no.
Yeah, they don't
wires.
have any
Assumed
energy for the
bird of
phasers?
prey was in B12 or whatever.
What?
I assume the
The-
bird of prey was in the one.
Sorry,
that
no,
she
no.
was
I'm
talking
telling you.
about.
I mean, I'd be willing to bet some hot wings challenge on it. It's the Enterprise. It is definitely the Enterprise. But anywho, so this is where they're decoy transponders. This is where they tell us that. And then
We
okay,
could
so
kill one of our crew members because why not?
well, this kind of bothered me because Odo. It didn't bother me a lot because I get they're like this different sect. They're like this terrorist sect. And I'm convinced now that the dude she's working for is not a changeling because of the way he was talking in this episode about
I'm beginning to suspect that the Nagilum theory might be true.
he was othering her.
Yeah.
And you don't like so I didn't have a problem, like a huge problem with it, but it did kind of bother me because that was always a rule. Changelings can't kill other changelings. And I'm getting those guys in the beaks with the beaks are changelings, right?
That's what they've basically been telling us. Yeah.
Yeah. And she's just cold
So-
about it, lights of smoke. Yeah.
Yeah. And
But
I
if they're all
kind of,
changelings, why are they speaking a different language than her?
I don't know.
yeah, that's
you know.
kind of,
Why are they smoking?
these are things that if it wasn't for the fact that a lot of stuff has been addressed for the most part in the series so far,
Mhm.
I would actually be getting crusty. But
Well, that
but-
whole
but
previous
it seems
scene,
as though they're being pretty good about explaining what's going on, at least 1 or 2 episodes later. So, I'm keeping my powder dry.
so I forgot to mention during this scene, this is where she's saying, I want every known associate of Admiral Picard, So she's focusing more on getting revenge at this point, which is why she killed the other alien guy.
So that
And
would
then-
be
Do you have a
Jack
problem
and
with this
Beverly.
No, I didn't have a problem with it.
Because
I'm just going over it.
back in episode 1 or 2, she knew everything there was to know about Picard and Shaw without having to ask. Like she had all this info.
She was studied up on them. I would Is that just
If
how I
she
took it?
Studied up on
If she studied up
Picard,
but like she's casting a wider net now, especially with what happens at the end.
okay.
Because now she's looking into Riker. She never knew to look into Riker before.
Right, but she doesn't say we're going to look into Riker. Says we're going to look into Picard.
Any and
Somebody
all
she
known
clearly already,
anybody he could possibly go to help.
including his
for.
family, his loved ones.
Yeah.
Don't you know he doesn't have loved ones? I mean,
Well, his crew is his family.
Crew is his
so,
family.
Yeah,
like
so
they've
why-
established that in a previous episode.
that's
And they've
weak.
been-
Also, she had no reason to know anything about Captain Shaw, but she had immediate access to like his records. So like
Right.
it just seems inconsistent.
He not at all.
that
Shaw's information might even be easier to get because he's an active captain, whereas Picard's
it
retired.
seems
Like
to
I don't know.
me
I just
inconsistent that
Yeah.
in the earlier episodes you could immediately bring up all the relevant information on these guys, and now this episode, it's like she
No,
doesn't know the first thing about them.
that's not it at all, man. Wow, you're really
I'm with Bird on this. Why
No.
wouldn't she already know?
because she first of all her mission was she would know about Jack, therefore know about Crusher, Dr. Crusher, and therefore know about Picard, and do her homework on those three particular people.
Okay, and what does
Okay.
she and Dr. Crusher have in common? The Enterprise D. And she knows all, and so she would know her associates would then be the command crew of the Enterprise D. That would be
Correct.
Geordi and Riker, which he has Riker and Deanna Troi by the end of this episode.
Right? Yeah.
Or
But there is,
or there's the possibility that Deanna is a changeling
Yeah.
and she doesn't have her. But Thomas brings up a point that, well, there was a changeling working on Shaw's ship for a while. And
Damn.
I say, yes, that's true. But I believe the changelings working on the ship are a different sect than Vadic's sect, because the one working on the ship left Jack to die.
Yeah.
He left him in the poison atmosphere. And it was by miracle chance, 7 of 9 was
that's
able
true.
to save his life.
Yeah. Well, either that or that's just
the-
another piece of bad writing.
I was going
Well-
to say the one thing about Vadic is that her character is so arrogant. She would have presumed to have already had sufficient information, so she wouldn't have necessarily gone whole hog and done like, the ancestry.com edition of everybody that's encountered Picard.
All right, where are you going, Danny? You're not getting in trouble, are you? He's not answering, making me nervous.
I'm sorry, my son just
All right,
talking to my son. Sorry.
no worries.
I rewound it a little bit
I
because you
gotta
guys
check.
were still talking about Vadic. But this next part is we learn that Jack has the aromatic syndrome, but I think it's a red herring because clearly that doesn't cause your eyes to go red and you to be Jason
Well,
Bourne.
clearly, don't you remember that from Star
Yeah.
Trek: The Next Generation?
So-
Picard used to always run around the ship beating the crap out of people.
Yeah.
Do
yeah,
you believe
see,
Beverly Crusher, a medical doctor, would not have scanned her son for aromatic syndrome at some point, knowing that the father had it?
I don't know, man. Sometimes people don't want to know.
Yeah, that's a thing.
You know,
I don't
I'll tell-
think it's a
I mean,
thing for Beverly.
If they had a cure for it, then she'd want to know.
Well,
but if they don't,
this is the
then-
same. Keep in mind, Bird, this is the same show where the mother and the son, both medics, and the son has to ask Picard about when he lost the hair, even though hair loss is maternal.
Yeah, but it's still a funny joke.
Yeah, but he wouldn't pass it on.
Can't you guys? I swear to God, you guys just are not like you're just. It's make believe. You suspend disbelief and you just enjoy it. You know what I mean? For what it is.
Yeah, it would be.
You don't have to like.
Suspend disbelief if they got their basic. I mean, everybody says Star Trek is based on real science, but they don't understand hair loss.
It's played for a joke. So I do the same thing. Hold up. So I do the same thing to my dad. I got a full head of hair. I'll call it now. I'm never going bald. My poor old man, bald.
Yeah.
You know, sorry, Dad. Don't let me call you out.
That's why I worry about my son. My wife's dad. He's bald as Picard easy.
Your mom will have to
No,
let me know. I don't remember. My grandpa died when I was young on my mom's side, so I don't know if he was bald or not. Probably. Who knows? With my luck, I'm talking all this smack. I'll never go bald. And cut to 50, 60, maybe. I don't know. Guess if I was going to start, it would have happened by now, huh? Deep thoughts with the Dork Knight. Anyway, so the next scene is Jack is drinking his sorrows away, kind of feeling sorry for himself and being a general dickhead to his father.
Well, he got that from his dad. They both
Yeah.
spent a lot of time feeling sorry for themselves in the show.
10
Yeah.
Forward is still playing.
Yeah. Why
They
not?
just never turn that simulation off, do they?
No.
No.
You know, guys, budget. Come on, the ships make up for it. I was actually really proud of this.
No, they
clip
really
here.
don't.
Oh God.
I mean, aren't the 3D models essentially free? Well, what does it cost
Couldn't they
to
have
have
built
those 3D models?
couldn't they have built a 10 forward set on the or whatever they call their bar on the Titan rather than go to a holodeck program of 10 forward, which is the most improbable thing to have on the Titan?
Holodecks have always been a big part of the next generation. And I have zero problem with this. And I really do think next time you pray to Jesus, because I believe that's how you Christians do it, instead of praying to God, which doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, you ask him to, like, I don't know, you're so, what's the word? Like salty, so negative. Like, so, it's like,
What's my name?
Yeah. Like,
It's you and me in the middle, Danny.
Yeah, right.
We're holding the center.
Yeah, right. Yeah, this is like a shit sandwich here, but anyway, so now this part I did have a little. We might agree on a little nitpick I have here. Even though we get Worf and Raffi, who were previously on the La Serena, they beam over.
Bird, I think, called it. What do you call him? Worfy?
Waffy,
I'm not.
Worfy?
Yeah.
Waffy?
We can't be doing that, but
that's the new couple name. Power.
So my thing was they didn't show when they do the exterior shot. Where's the La Serena? Like, they
crashed it into the sun.
Yeah, something like that kind of was weird to me.
Which, by the way,
that's the one thing that's annoying to me is there was no explanation as to why a ship that seemingly is, the Millennium Falcon of Star Trek, was, nowhere to be found.
Well, it's also wonderful that everything they could possibly need to do is all within 2 hours, apparently.
You're killing me.
Of where they were.
Now, didn't this just warm the cockles of your heart? Look at that. He looks like he's wincing in pain.
Well, I would be.
She just looks so. I'll leave it alone. You made me mess up. There we go. All right. So after this, let's just go straight into this. Was the preview from last week's Ready Room for this episode. This is basically where Worf and Raffi are debriefing. Is that what it's called? I guess.
Yeah.
So I think this is just a regular brief.
Or something. Anyway,
debriefing, I think, is when you learn what the
debriefing is after a mission. Briefing is giving an update to the status.
Okay, so they're briefing the staff then, or the rest of these guys here. I try to get a shot of everybody, but Seven's also there, but you can't see her in this shot. And now they've decided, after Picard had a very good use of the word burgle, that these three.
It was a really good briefing.
It was actually, but I mean, like,
it explained why the changelings, No,
the audience learns nothing new in that briefing.
Well,
that's just
honestly,
to get all the characters on the same page. That's like the third time we've heard that.
I did.
What did you?
Honestly, well, in Deep Space Nine, we were under the assumption that they cured all the changelings and everybody was fine, hunky dory. But I think from what they said here, I get the feeling that not all the changelings were 100% cured. Some might have been scarred for life.
Yeah, no,
And-
there's going to be repercussions from the virus.
Right.
Otherwise, they wouldn't have brought it up. So no, I guess that is kind of newish. But like you knew this if you watched.
Well, it was a retcon from Deep Space Nine. That's how I took it.
I don't think that's a retcon. I mean, I think it makes sense because even though Starfleet provided them with the cure for the virus, there was already there was already.
First of all, we have a
damage
super
done.
chat, guys. So do we stop for
sorry.
that real quick?
Super chat.
Thank you. So SVS Guru 2000 with a 10 euro super chat says Riker was captain of the Titan. Seems reasonable to think that he'd have the bar program, ignoring the fact that 10 forward was called that because it was on deck 10 forward. Well,
Yes, and we've all discussed this before. So.
we have, but there's a couple of problems. A, Shaw did say that he purged all of Riker's crap from the computer, and B, even if he hadn't, doesn't the Titan have a bar? It's got 500 crew.
Baby Jesus, you know what? Yeah, and the Enterprise had 10 forward, but how many times did we see episodes where they go to like, they're at a bar in the Old West, or they go to like, oh god, okay, man.
They went to the
holodeck. Actually, you know what? Here's a good point. Here's a thing where you just have to let this stuff wash because this walks deep into the world of computers. And if we're going to go off on a deep end on this, then I can't watch Star Trek ever. Any season, any series, doesn't matter because it's all so catastrophically broken. It's not even funny. It's the 25th century. You can store everything. There's no, I need to delete the music because I don't have enough space in my Titan. You're going to have everybody's holodeck programs from everywhere in the entire quadrant, if not.
Well, they already said all the ships are networked. They say that in this episode.
That, to say nothing of that particular aspect of it. So yeah, but this is the thing. This is like I'm supporting Danny on this point. Like we got to watch just, if you want detail, go watch The Expanse and try to find everything that's wrong. If you want a little bit of wholesome entertainment, well, maybe not wholesome because there's a little bit of mouthiness in these shows lately, but if you want to watch something that's at least nostalgic in a good way, now watch Picard season 3.
Yeah, no, well,
just pop the popcorn, drink the drink, have a nice ride.
Amen. So they decide
Kool-Aid is what you're saying.
Yeah, so they're beaming to the Daystrom station now, and this is the part from the trailer where everybody lost their shit because they thought Worf was going to be a pacifist when he said, "You should know, Captain, that I prefer pacifism to brute force or whatever." And then Riker with the great line, "We're all going to die."
I almost think that they're writing Worf to be just a little bit deliberately dry, sarcastic.
Oh, they totally are. He's the straight man in these two.
Yeah. But even with things like I'm a pacifist, even though he's done nothing but beat the ever living crap out of everybody or cut their heads off. So then,
I think by pacifist, Worf means he doesn't fight emotionally anymore.
Yeah, I see. I mean, I have no problem with his statement, but he's basically saying, I will defend myself, kind of thing, but I'm not going to go out and pick a fight, is how I take it. But this was something LDG kind of lost his shit about this morning. He said, and I got the wrong pause of it, but they're basically getting scanned right now. This is like a split second before it happens. You can kind of see the light pointing down.
But they're about Chat GPT?
No, he was saying that why would it be like, and this is like, it didn't bother me. I didn't even think about it until he brought it up, but he was like, why would the AI be asking them to identify themselves right after they scan them? Wouldn't the AI know who they are from the scan? And I was like,
yeah, you would think all three of them are current or former Starfleet personnel. So it should
say, well, actually all three of them are current.
And they're all wearing
Worf
badges.
is not currently Starfleet, but Rafi and Riker
he works for Starfleet Intelligence.
But he's not Starfleet.
He said he's Yeah, they do all have badges.
Right,
and
but he
it-
said that he's not active Starfleet.
no, I'm getting.
He's like a private contractor.
Yeah, independent contractor. No, I mean the scanner at the very least would pick up the comm badge that he's wearing. You would
Right.
think, So thanks LDG for ruining that for me because I didn't even think about that. But that is a good fair point. This is where he's putting in the key.
Yeah.
Which was not anything I thought it was going to be. It was just kind of a MacGuffin for them to.
It was just a key.
Yeah, and then all right, so now they're hiding from 2 Federation ships have just showed up looking for him
with special tracking phasers.
Well, they get into that. So he's like, hey, Riker, buddy, we got company, so we got to go, basically. Yeah, that's what he's doing now. I didn't need that previous clip. And so they are. They're the Titan is getting out of Dodge. Were you guys surprised by that? Because now he's like,
there's special
Picard.
magic tracking phasers. What are the choices they have?
well, they don't know about them. They don't
Yeah, they
even
did.
learn.
Show it
No,
before.
they learn about those in the conversation with Geordie's daughter after Geordie beams over to
No,
the ship.
she said that right then and there.
No, she said that
one
they
hit
had
from them, and it won't matter where they go.
Yeah, that's because the type of weapons that they have when they detonate, it made perfect sense to me.
Ionic
So that,
radiation or something.
yeah, the way it was explained,
Tracking phasers.
Something we had
But
never heard of before.
it is new, but it's also the 25th century. You know what else is new? They don't even know that their little tracking buoy thing or whatever didn't matter because all the ships are networked and they can just ping the ship and be like, okay.
And yet they mattered.
No, see, it seems like they're not telling everybody this stuff because that was news to Shaw and Riker and Picard.
Did
or
my
at
mic
least,
change
or at least
suddenly?
Shaw and Picard.
No, you're okay. It's just you went echoey for a minute.
Oh, that's weird. Okay,
Yeah.
Search just said my mic changed. So I just
Hey, Thomas, thanks. It's always nice when I guess hell's frozen over. He's agreeing with me.
So it's like every ship is an Apple AirTag if it's within a certain distance of other Federation tech. It becomes
Yeah, but I don't think it's like widely
traceable.
known. I think it's more like for Starfleet intelligence and the higher brass for them to have like basically low jacking all their
I guess if you don't
starships.
have engineers on your starships, you might be able to get away with that.
Yeah. So now they're walking
Yeah.
through. They're walking through, and here's where a bunch of member berries are. This one I liked because it's the Genesis 2 device, and I made sure to look in on that.
Like
when
that?
hell yeah, because Dr. Marcus, this ties up a loose end from.
How does it tie up a loose end?
I'm about to explain it to you because we already know that Dr. Marcus, the son, continued the research. And then
Dr. Marcus, the son, is dead.
Hold up. But then he got, can I finish? Then he got killed, right? Well, we don't know what happened to his mom. So either they have the files and all the records and stuff, or they have that and the Dr. Marcus, the mom. And of course, Starfleet's going to be like, wow, like we never thought about it like this awesome weapon of power. And then they're like, probably some treaties, some reason they can't have it. So they have section, because this is Section 31's goodies. Like I totally bought that. And I actually appreciated the fact they built one because all the other things are just little like displays. Oh, and super chat.
And thank you, Thomas. Says networking ships worked well in BSG. Yes, we all know how. And that's something I was actually thinking about. If all the starships are networked, man, one computer virus takes down all of Starfleet. And guess what?
Well,
that's exactly what happened in Prodigy.
I was going to say they actually made that canon in Prodigy.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So, bam, that's just stupid.
So here's a better, I did this second one so you could clearly see it says Genesis 2 device. That's why I did this next one.
But I think that, okay, so Genesis.
This one bothers me, but go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. So Genesis to me is like, okay, you have a planet destroying and recreating torpedo, and they realize, oh yeah, that's a very bad idea as soon as they detonate one. and so they shelve it, and then they make another one.
Who's to
Section
say
30.
there wasn't already a prototype in the works? Maybe that's why Carol Marcus wasn't in Star
Genesis
Trek
torpedo
3
was the
because
prototype.
because like so her son was doing his post research crap on the planet, and she's working on device number 2. Or I don't I didn't have a problem with this at all. You really think
Well,
there's
and
going to be
it's-
one? There's only one of these things that like
And
this is-
Section 31, like the way they've got Section 31 played out to be.
Well,
And,
now
and
everybody knows about Section 31, which is a total retcon.
Hold up. I don't think
Yeah.
Riker actually knew. If you go back and watch that scene, I think that was part of their brotherly, playful banter, where he can't let Worf know. Worf knows something he doesn't. So because the way he responds, he's like, "I know what Section 31 is." It was like, does he really though? I mean, I feel like that could go either way. But the only reason why I think Kirk was there was because he came back through the Nexus.
Yeah, but I mean, because after Picard buried Kirk under rocks and the wolves came and got his remains, I mean, what was there left to put in there? No,
Okay, since we're talking about Kirk, here it is. This
just
one
bones.
this one bothers me, but not because of what you're saying. Because if you remember, yeah, Picard buried him, and that was sweet and all. But put his comm badge on it like a headstone. And Section 31, these unscrupulous effers would definitely like go find, at the very least, use that to find him. And God knows what these sickos wanted. Like, it bothers me that it's here, period. It doesn't bother me that I don't believe it could happen, because I believe that it could happen. It's just, I hate that they put
it's
that in
the
here.
step too far.
Yeah, for me anyway. I was just
And
like,
not
whoa.
just because of a member berry thing, but like that makes Section 31 persona non grata for you.
Yeah, like that's a bridge too far. That's
Well,
for me.
Section 31 has been persona non grata for me for a long time, but this is just icing on the cake.
Now this one was funny. The genetically modified killer tribble. That's gave
when I
Worf a
saw
little jump
genetically
scare.
modified Tribble, I just immediately thought of the Trouble with Benjamin, or whatever the name.
Trouble with Edward.
Trouble with Edward, yeah, because I think that's his Tribble. You remember yeah.
Yeah, that's like if a Tribble and a face hugger
yeah
had an offspring.
And I love how Riker just lays into him, big Klingon scared of a little Tribble. And then Worf is like, I see you still find humor in causing others discomfort, and in humor in others, or something like that, and humor in others. And then Raffi has to play referee. That kind of bothered me a little bit. I was like, hey, come on, man. We didn't have a referee back in the day. I want to see him. I mean, these guys are Eskimo brothers. Worf banged his wife for years before they got married. They have like they have like a bond and a friendship that goes beyond like working together. And like, I mean, to be friends with somebody, like, I don't know if you guys have done this from experience, but to remain friends with somebody who like slept with your wife, but before she was your wife, because I've actually been in that exact same
in my
situation.
old friend group, there's actually a situation like that.
Yeah, like
it's very weird. I look into it. I look at it from the outside, so for me, it's just.
But it's
strange.
a different level of friendship.
Yeah.
Well, not really though, but it's a different level of friend, especially if you're homies. Because sometimes shit just happens.
And they did stay friends. Yeah, everybody stayed friends. It's very strange.
But they have the playful, like bickering brothers thing, and I just didn't need Raffi, who I don't really particularly care for anyway, because I didn't get the character arc I was promised. I don't think she needed to be refereeing. That's why I paused it specifically on that, because that bothered me.
What if one of those friends has twice the manhoods of the other?
Well, then it comes up
Discovery
and
doesn't exist.
Yeah, I made that joke this morning. You might have heard that with LDG, because anyway, I don't even want to repeat that. So let's go on to okay. Now we see that the AI security system has recognized Riker, and that looks like that's a picture from Nemesis, or no, yeah, probably Nemesis.
Yeah, that was your guess, wasn't it, Bird?
Nemesis, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we see our kind of like our first clue here. How many of you picked up the like on your like,
The Raven took
the
a
Raven.
couple of moments on the screen before it clued in for me, because that was a late season TNG where
Yeah.
I was finishing high school at that point in time with that season.
Oh, I
think.
hate
And,
you.
Yeah, and you know, paying attention to a lot of other things, including
Yeah, so
part-time jobs and stuff. So
I
That
feel
was
you.
the episode where Dr.
That was-
Bashir came on the Enterprise, so I remember
And this
pretty well.
you can see that the the bird's glitching, so they know right away it's a hologram.
Convenient glitch. It's
And
convenient.
then the thing that you either love this or you hate this. It's
Well,
like
this is 100% member bearing.
so. Hold
Yeah,
up,
that
hold
was
up.
like the
No,
most
no.
pointless-
This makes sense. It is not pointless.
No,
This,
it does
There
not.
is 0 sense made
But
here.
throw this in the freaking
Oh, okay.
trailers of
hold
the
up.
series.
No, 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 no,
and
no,
then
no,
to
no, no,
have
no,
them
no, no,
on
no,
the
no,
series
no,
for all
no,
of
no,
30
no, no,
freaking
no, no,
seconds.
no, 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 no.
was
It does
over.
make sense, and this is why it makes sense, because Moriarty was specifically made to beat Data.
No,
Okay?
I'm not saying.
And
Dan,
the more and so in the collective, without the context of sentience and consciousness,
Danny,
this let me finish my point, please. This new Data has this AI, which ends up being kind of Data, has got Lore, Data's daughter, Data before Lore, Lowell and Lore, and then the Soong guy who gave
Aaron
Picard his
Soong.
body.
Mm.
It has all of their collective experiences, but none of the context, as you can see Data fighting with it for a little bit when he was like all glitching. So I this made perfect sense to me, because if somebody with all of that information, and it's just black and white information, says, okay, Data's greatest rival was this guy, this is the only guy that basically had his number. I'm like, yeah, if I'm Data and I it's like Batman, because he feared bats, he became Batman to strike fear into the other people. This is Data's fear. So that's, to me, that's exactly, it made perfect damn sense.
No,
It wasn't
no,
just a member
you're
berry for a
missing
member
my
berry.
point. That's the problem. I'm not saying it doesn't make sense within the context of what Data's subconscious is trying to do within the context of the security system, the memberberry 2000 security system that he's using. What doesn't make sense is that they advertised this 6 freaking months ago. Okay, that they were showing us Moriarty like
Okay.
this was going to be.
Do you know?
some
Do you
major
want to know?
plot
Do you want
point.
to? Okay. Do you
I
want to know
don't
why?
care. I don't
No,
care that Brian
no.
from Podcast was saying it wasn't a big deal.
No.
I don't care that Nerdrotic was saying it wasn't a big deal.
It is a big
pisses me
deal. Do you
off
want to
that
know
they
why?
marketed it like it
Jesus.
was a big deal, and he was
No,
on
they
screen
did.
for
They were
30 freaking
forced.
seconds.
Jesus Christ! They were forced into putting him in the trailer
Nobody was
because.
forced to put him in.
Can I please finish talking, please? This actor did a cameo months before any of the marketing promotion started, and in the cameo, he spoiled a ton of shit about what he did, and this person put it on Reddit, and then anybody who was a news outlet that started sharing it started getting cease and desist letters, but the damage was already done. So they were like, fuck it, we'll put him in the trailer. That's what happened.
Well, guess what? I never heard about the cameo or the Reddit, but I saw the trailer.
Well, now you know, and with the context of that
But you know what?
information,
It doesn't matter. If they had left it at that, most people never would have heard about it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know.
It didn't bother me. I liked it.
You know what? The best way to make sure that everybody knows about it is to make a big stink about it. And so what you do is you ignore it. And if you ignore it, then the only people that are going to know about it are the dweebs on Reddit and the cameo
Hey,
people.
and
That's
you
not
know,
a huge percentage of people.
you know that, and apparently somebody at Paramount Marketing didn't.
Right.
But that's
Because
what
people
happened.
at Paramount think that oh my gosh, it's on Reddit, everybody's going to know. Oh my gosh, it's on Twitter. That's how the world thinks. No, that's not how the world thinks. That's how some idiots on Twitter think. You know, so and so that unfortunately, you know, they ruined what could have been a great surprise cameo for someone like me. I would have geeked out over seeing him if I didn't know he was in that scene. But after seeing him for 30 seconds and realizing exactly what he was, and then seeing that he was gone after 30 seconds and was meaningless to the overall story,
He was
I was
not meaningless
pissed off.
to the overall story. I just
No, it wasn't
Well,
even Moriarty.
well,
I think it was meaningless.
It was, he
was-
was
was
absolutely
symbolic.
meaningless.
No,
he
it
was
was
there to send a message
Okay,
to
you remember
Riker.
my-
That's
you
it.
remember
That was
my-
his purpose.
Mm. Anyway, all right. So now we have this beautiful exterior shot of the museum that Geordi works at, and wow, like God, that's just so cool. I wish they did zoom in on each of them, but we only get a few close-ups. Look how pissed Geordi looks. He does not look happy.
oh yeah, he doesn't even have cornflakes.
He makes
Yeah.
Bird look civil there.
Yeah, it was like Grumpy Cat 2000 right there. And so immediately beams over, though. And
You know
everybody's
why
shouted this
he
to the heavens,
beams
but
over.
for those that don't know, that's his real life daughter next to him. Well, yeah, we talked about this earlier, didn't we? Like, I didn't have a problem with this because he would not have a changeling problem because he's a museum. Like, he's basically like this, like
He's a boring corner of the galaxy. So
No, I meant he
He's-
beams over because they need to use the Titan sets. God forbid they use a space dock set.
money.
well,
Man.
they're
Money.
burning money. They're
Yeah,
yeah.
you got to
Well, not
understand.
very much. This is
No,
the cheapest show they've made.
It is no, and that's not their. It wasn't by their choosing. That's what the studio was willing to give them. You know, like because they're contractually obligated to do this third season. Everybody hates it. It's not doing well. We're gonna throw a Hail Mary pass. We'll let this kid do it, but we're gonna give him like a third of the money, you know, or a fourth of the money. Some is like ridiculously less money. So you guys just have to understand, like, and it also forces people to tell better stories. You guys just hate life. I don't know. That was a nice scene there where they hug. And
You know what? This is a better story than season 1 and 2, but it's not a better story than, you know, most of what we got in Strange New Worlds, or even a lot of what we got in Prodigy or Lower Decks. This is not brilliant storytelling. This is just member bearings with a story linking it together.
all right, well, you know, that's the.
Sir
I
Stars tells
I
us
mean, do we
I
really
like
need
this.
this flashback when you start hearing "Pop Goes the Weasel"? I mean,
I
this
appreciated it.
whole
I
series has
appreciated it.
been- this whole series has been nothing but member berries. You're sitting there looking at
Did you?
Dr.
Okay, yeah,
Moriarty. You're
so let me ask
looking
you
at a
something.
crow. If you don't get
Did
what's
you-
going on,
Did you love the Next Generation? Did you love it?
I didn't love Encounter at Farpoint.
That's not what I asked. The
Hey,
overall
Dr. Alex,
series.
good to see you,
Do
buddy.
you think back on it? Do you think back on it fondly?
Overall,
Did it
absolutely.
enrich? Did it enrich your life?
Yes.
Then
In fact, I
fucking
thought Dr.
enjoy
Moriarty.
this. And I'm
was-
sorry
was
to
a couple
drop
of
the
my- I
F-bomb,
really
but
like Dr. Moriarty as a villain.
just go with it, man. My
See,
God, it's so
see, I
good.
still, for so much of this season, I will still stand on what I said, I think a couple episodes ago, and that is this is it. There's
It's
probably not
whistling.
going to be any
Yeah,
any Star Trek
because
for a
because
while.
people
So,
like
and-
you two
and-
are so spoiled that you want to bitch and complain about everything that when we have something good, we
And-
can't all just come together so we can get more of it. TerryTrek.com.
Well, and even if
Sign the petition.
even and even if we only want to call it, you know, all right, it's still way better than Discovery. It's still way better than the
sure.
first.
And-
two
and-
seasons
and
of
look,
Picard.
That's a really low
think
bar,
I've tried
but-
to make this clear, and
Yeah,
and I know that I'm being the negative Nancy of the three core members of our team here, but at the same time, I am saying this is a far superior show to Discovery. By if they had started New Trek with this,
Rec,
then I would have been a much happier camper.
I
But-
respectfully disagree, Star Trek. Were you not
No,
here for
I
my
agree
Batman?
with Star Trek.
No,
That's
my
why I'm
Batman
even willing to
comparison.
tolerate that horrible picture just for that comment. As much as I hate Star Trek's picture, That's that is the worst picture ever. But the
He whistles. Moriarty f's off. They move on.
but the
I appreciated these because this was a look at inside of kind of Riker's mind because he was working it out, and they were just throwing these little flashbacks in with it
why not throw a flashback to Moriarty?
because he's not a human.
Why
This
not
was
throw a
human.
flashback to the Crow?
Oh my god!
Why not a flashback to the Genesis device or any of the other stuff? Why just the song?
Because not everybody's a musician. Okay, like
Can
I didn't
anyone
read the notes like you did and know what.
Not
the
everybody
song was.
knows what the Crow signifies. I'll bet you a lot of people walked away from that episode saying, "What the heck was the Crow?"
Well, people could have walked away and said, "What the hell was the New Jersey?"
Right.
But if they did, it was their loss.
So what do you think
they,
of the?
they tried to get the USS Kuroga, but the Kuroga crashed into an asteroid. So instead, they got the next closest starship, which would be the New Jersey.
So
what I don't understand is that if I was, what's his name, Altair Soon, because I called him Aaron Soon. I forgot what his name was. Whatever the latest Soon, and I was creating a new golem body for a new Data before.
Yeah,
Wall
actually,
combo.
we'll get to that. I have that. I
Okay.
have that. We'll get to that. What did you guys think of this B story with Geordie's family? And basically, she's finding out that, or she's about to find out that he wants to ground her, basically get her off the ship.
It was fine. I came away with it with no feeling like I was watching Dawson's Creek or something like that.
Yeah.
I think Jack and her are going to get married and have children.
Which one? The one
I
on
was honestly
the one on the
more
left?
interested in Jack
Yeah.
and
Sydney, yeah.
Yeah,
Sydney's
well,
thing than
yeah.
the girls.
I like that the dynamic of that relationship too. Now this is just like you said, member berries, but whatever. It led to
it was-
something. It
It
led
was
to
starships. This is
Yeah.
my starships. Your argument is invalid. Moment.
There you go. Look at that. What I love that they went with. It looks just like the Enterprise, the exact same ship, just has a different name, and it's true to the William Shatner, Captain Kirk era of Star Trek.
The channel Star Trek Nitpickers,
Yeah,
he does fan productions, and he's always been using the USS New Jersey.
mm-hmm.
I didn't know that New Jersey was ever mentioned, to be honest, before in Trek.
It was in it was. It's in one episode, but it's reference. I have to look it up. I would ask Chat GPT, but that'd make Salty upset.
It's great to see it in actual.
So this is our undiscovered country version of the Enterprise here, because Kirk blew the other one up.
Yeah,
but
that was 4, 5, and 6, to be fair.
And then Voyager. Good God,
Yeah.
Look at that underbelly.
yeah.
What ship is that?
That's Voyager, buddy. Come on,
Never
now.
heard of it.
Oh my God.
No, I was
trolling
playing Jack.
And you never
was
see her
surprised.
smile. This is why I got this, because she's smiling because she just finished telling him, what because he conveniently didn't know what that ship was. So she explains to him, and we get a nice little moment here. Like I don't think Seven's. She just doesn't smile a lot. You know what I mean? So I thought that was cool.
No. She's pretty. Well, she was always straight faced on Voyager, and she was kind of dour in the Picard series.
Star Trek nitpicker. He's the same guy that does Major Grin, right?
No, that's nitpicking nerd.
That's nitpicking nerds. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Star Trek Nitpickers does his own good work.
Okay. I'll have to check it out. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. All these, there's so many, I get them all confused. Let's see. And then okay, now here's the one this is what the point of all this ship porn
the greatest ship in the history of all Star Trek.
I mean, I don't know about that, but
and notice though, Bird, and in true Kurogan fashion, the gantry, you just walk off and fall into space.
I'm sure it's invisible. It's cloaked. It's cloaked.
Or it's one of those magical gantries like on DS9 where somehow you manage to walk into the Defiant even though there's nothing there
There's
in the
no
nose of the
opening for it.
Defiant. Yeah. Now, the one thing I did like with the bird of prey and Worf was that moment back on the Daystrom station where he goes, "Superior Klingon technology."
Yes. Yeah. That's coming up.
I
I
thought it was a
screen capped
funny
that.
joke,
Yeah.
but I also didn't think that was anything Worf would ever say.
Right, because I think Worf would actually admit that Romulan cloaks are superior.
Yeah.
And he was just, they're just acting like brothers, and just he's the dry.
It was his
guy,
dig
and
back
he's-
on
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love this. This is where you can see the NX-01 in the back, and then this is
Deej, what did I do to you, Deej? I'm sorry.
That's not the NX-01.
yeah, it is back there.
You sure?
It's
That's-
the whatchamacallit, the
Oh.
NX-01 with the extra piece underneath.
Is
It's
it?
the
Yeah,
NX-01
yeah, it's the-
refit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's the NX-01 refit, and they did this as an Easter egg to say that, like,
It's canon.
well, not just that, but that it did not end with these are the voyages or whatever. I think that was the name of the final episode. That was a
Well, no,
that
that
was
whole
a
series,
a
that whole
holodeck.
series was just a hollow novel.
Yeah.
oh god.
But
Anyway.
there was an episode where they were showing the refit on one of the other NX class ships.
yeah. So now we're back here, and they're talking about trying to figure this shit out. Riker's like, he wasn't trying to hurt us. He recognized us, and he's kind of thinking they should turn him on. And then we get a nice little, this is B4. You got a super chat.
And so SVS Guru, thank you once again, says, does this mean does the museum have a camera drone circling the ships so that visitors can have on-demand beauty shots? No. They use the Kurogan system where you just have to step out of the airlock and float around the ships until you die.
Funny story about this prop here. This is the same one from Nemesis. And they were able to, one of the guys that did an interview talked about how this was
Did they also use it in Picard season 1 then?
still in the archives. I don't know. I cannot speak to that. All I know is that the guy that worked on this one said
And
that.
when did they move it from the Daystrom Institute to Daystrom Station?
I don't know. That's, these are questions. Here's where we get
Maybe they
what
just
Bird
replicated a copy.
here's where we get what Bird wanted to talk about. So Bird, did you want to expand?
My question was, if this guy was building this new golem body, which was supposed to be his life's work, and give data and lore and lol and himself a new chance, why would he use a elderly body for data to start? I mean, how
Well,
much
age-
time would data have?
No, he said one that ages just like Picard. He's basically saying he learned, like, and I hate that I know this. It's only because I watched this
understand
crap.
he wants it to age appropriately, but why start it at fucking 80 years old or 75 years old? Why not start it at 20 years old and let it live a life?
Right. If I was going to put myself into a new body, I wouldn't like set it at the age I'm at now. I would set it at like at least 20 years younger than I'm at now, just to buy myself a little bit of an extension. I mean,
Well, I guess it wouldn't matter because he'd live anyway. But you have another super chat.
yes. Ensign Ricky, thank you, my friend, with a $5 super chat. Says, I don't know. I think they're doing a great job so far. The story is cliche, but overall, I love the season. In my opinion, this is as good as it's going to get, to be honest. Well, I'll agree with you in part. I do think this is about as good as they're going to get with a TNG reunion type show with the current level of writing that, as far as the team that they've got together for this, which I'm not thrilled about that fact. I think they could do a lot better if they would just bring in sci-fi writers instead of television writers. Because it feels like they have a team of television writers. And you are absolutely right with your second super chat.
Super chat.
It says it could be way worse, and they have indeed proven that already.
Yes. Yeah. Be careful what we wish for here. Right?
Yes.
So I don't know if you saw the private chat, but the reason I'm trying to move it along is we're barely halfway through this.
You've got a hard stop, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, let's get going.
All right.
Stop
Well,
right
away.
So here we go. This is where Jordy is basically arguing with his daughter, saying that like she can't do this, and then she's basically throwing back his life and into his face, and like he's all like, oh shit, I'm screwing up. And then I think they did this on purpose. They talk about having to get into battle stations in front of the kids. Like I kind of feel like they did this to nudge them into being young, rebellious do-gooders. When Seven and Picard are talking about actually having to fight the other ships. And then Jack is like, he's got this idea from the bird of prey, because it disappeared in the San Francisco Bay after the events of Star Trek 4, so it took a long time to find it. That means they have a cloaking device. You guys want to help me steal it? And they seemed very eager to help, which was cool.
I gotta take an umbrage with Bird on this one.
What's that?
Well, I did have Bird stuff on in the background while I was doing some work around here, and I heard you say that you had a problem with that, Bird.
Well, I mean, it's kind of ridiculous that the cloaking device would have came on by itself underwater.
No, it's
But-
absolutely not. When the whale probe left, the cloaking device would have reactivated because all systems failed when they came near.
Because
the
of I would agree
Yeah.
with that. Yeah, that makes total sense. Yeah. Look at Salty standing up for the.
So
the
I'm
member
actually,
bearing.
I'm not,
Yeah.
hey, you know what? Credit where credit is due. The fact that the cloak came on when the probe left makes sense.
Well, now they're deciding they need to get data off of there because he is, the records or whatever. This is a little shot of Titan kind of messed up. And this is one of my favorite scenes here.
Shaw's only happy moment.
Shaw is just fanboying the F out over Geordie LaForge being on his bridge. And then Geordie gives him a backhanded compliment. I thought it was great.
The
He's
duct
like,
tape with the big duct tape comment, and then well, it's been a weird kind of week.
It's been a week. It's been a weird week. Yeah, no, I love Shaw. This was the least amount of TV time I think he got in an episode, but he made every second he was on it count, in my opinion. I really do like this guy. I would love to see a Shaw and 7 series, man. Jesus, that would be so good. Anyway, we got then something weird happens all of a sudden, and Geordie and the ship disappears, and man, Geordie gets pissed. Look at that face. Look at that.
That's
face.
a Kuta Kente face, right?
Yeah,
there.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
He's going back to his roots.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw what you did there. Totally. And then they both realize, oh shit, it's the kids, which I thought was funny.
Yeah, especially considering they're both kids of the two of them. Yeah, just
So then we find out what's going on. They, in fact, did steal the cloaking device, and they are trying to hook it up, but she's a better pilot than an engineer. And this is funny. This is like Geordie says, you know how many treaties you'll be breaking, Jean-Luc? And he's like, well, they can just add it to my tab. And he has his little smirk here.
That right there is an.
And then that's the reaction that Geordie gives him to that comment. Like,
you know what? Right there, he looks like Danny Glover saying, "I'm too old for this."
Yeah, right. Yeah. He's like, "What did you just say? Tell me you did not just say that." That's what I get from that. So then we have, they're like, "Shit, we screwed up." And then he comes in and he says, "You stay away from my daughter." That's what that look is right there. That was right after he says that. And then he proceeds to help Correctly, and she's like, "Dad, like, don't embarrass me in front of my new twink."
I will say this, and I know you're going to argue budget, but I'm talking in universe here. I'm not talking about practicality as far as making the show. Don't you think that logically it would make more sense for Jack to simply suggest that they all go onto the HMS Bounty and take that ship?
At first, At
for
first,
about a minute.
I was thinking that too, but
Yeah.
then I
Because the HMS
remembered
Bounty
it's
doesn't have the transponder
but
ponder that's linked to everybody else.
it's decommissioned. Like, so I to me, I feel like that means that there's like no propulsion, no fire. It's just, it's just there. It's a museum
Well,
piece that people
they
can.
would have had to almost create like a C plot of, let's get the ship fixed or something.
Not
Yeah,
necessarily. There's nothing that says that the ship has no power, because when you see it in that beauty shot you showed, the
I know,
impulse
man.
engines
Hey,
were lit up,
I get it, but
the torpedo tubes were lit up.
we already
powered
got a
on.
movie. We already got a movie with the HMS Bounty. Damn it! And this Titan is the new shiny toy. So that's what we
I
got.
understand that, but I'm just saying, from a logical perspective, you have a ship where the cloak is already installed and does not have a transponder,
and it's 200 years old. I mean, that's a terrible idea.
You don't care, but the Titan's not going to be able to take on those newer starships.
So hell yeah, they can't.
And by the way, as I think Bird pointed out in his video, we know for a fact that the Bounty can beam people while cloaked.
Yes, that it can do. So it would have been a better.
Whoa, no, can it?
Yep.
Yep.
They did it in San Francisco.
The entire time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought the first time they introduced a bird of prey that could cloak was in Undiscovered Country. That's what made it such a big deal.
That was
Firewall cloak.
Firewall cloak.
But
firewall cloaked. Okay.
Yeah,
it could beam and warp
while it was cloaked in Golden Gate Park.
Yeah, because they were constantly going in and out all the time.
Yeah.
It beamed the entire crew of the Enterprise up from the Genesis planet while cloaked.
That's a good
question.
It
did a lot of stuff while cloaked.
I'm gonna
SVS Guru, thank you so much for another super chat.
Super chat.
In addition to the Bounty, there was also the Katinga and a Romulan TOS bird of prey in the museum. They could have gotten a cloaking device from any of those. That's true as well.
Whoa. Go back to that. I can.
In my head canon, those were probably donated and the cloaking devices removed. Because
the bird of prey one was basically they stole it and then they crashed it and then they recovered it, and so they got to keep all of that stuff. So
well, it depends. So we don't know what the circumstances for the Romulan.
So now they just they're decloaking now, which for like you pointed out, which
stupid.
The Bounty, I guess so. We'll have to see why.
I mean, and then he pick up a warped in ship and then a cloaked.
The why is because they had no way to show us it arriving if it was cloaked.
Sure, they did. They show a shot from the bridge.
Oh.
So anyway, so he's like ordering. They beam the people up, and then Rafi sees that the real life armed guards are here. We need to hurry and get out of here. Riker decides he's going to be Billy Badass, and he thinks he's in his 30s, and tries to hold off these guys, but unfortunately, and that was kind of actually, I do want to go back to that. That was kind of a cool shot because they come right out of cloak, like swoop right under this dude. You guys can't even see my mouse. That's funny. And then get beam everybody but this poor bastard because he got hit with an inhibitor. And I just thought this was funny, like this.
No, it wasn't an inhibitor.
This freeze frame.
It was a transporter tag, so that they beamed him up to their ship, just like we saw in
Insurrection. Yeah. Okay. Well, then it's canon. But anyways, this is him in the middle of saying like basically like punch it, and then that's them going to warp, getting out of Dodge. And this is where they let everybody know Riker got captured, and then they unveil the kind of data. And Geordi gets emotional. Way different than his earlier freeze shot. And that's just because I like ship porn. This is where Worf is like, I swear to you, no matter man, beast, or child, or no, man, beast, or God, or something like that.
Yeah.
He'll get Riker back. And then we get
this seems like it should have been the last shot of the episode, because he shakes his hand and says goodbye, but then we see him again in a minute. So it's like,
Did he say goodbye? He just thanked him. I don't remember him saying
well,
that.
but it's like, no one will get in my way. I shall retrieve Riker. And then he leaves the room like they're parting company. But then we see him again in just a minute. And so it's like, why did you leave? See, and there he is.
Yeah, because they still have work to do, man. He's like,
Well, shouldn't he be going?
you gotta.
Get Riker?
No, not now. There's the bigger, the destruction of the Federation compared to the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one. Okay, so now we've got they're about to turn Data back on.
Yeah, I just checked the scene. He doesn't say goodbye or anything. It's just
Yeah.
thank you. They shake hands.
Yeah,
So it's just a
But it does seem
agreement
like
between
a final
friends.
scene for them.
nah.
It felt like that to me.
Yeah, it's fine. It's like, we all have opinions. We get Data 2.0 or whatever, and he says Geordie, and look at, like, he always looks like he's about to cry when he's looking at Data. It's like the bromance.
Well, this was my big problem with season 1 is why would they make it like Picard was Data's best friend?
And now he's
Geordie.
yeah, I know. They tried to change that in Nemesis. They tried to anyway. So he's like, Captain, and he's like, yes, Geordie. Although I'm really old now, or Data, whatever.
Mhm.
And then we get Lore for a second because he's kind of glitching around, having a hard time, even saying who he is. He's like, are you Data? And he's like, yes, sir. Oh, no, sir. Or, and he starts glitching, and now he's Lore for a second. And then this is cool. This is new. This is a new thing. Never knew I needed this.
Yeah, I still don't know how I feel about this.
I think it makes sense. It's kind of cool. He's like, he can.
What's he gonna start shooting lasers out of his eyes now?
Well,
no. I mean, this is different. This is optics, and he's projecting, and he's
but if he can project out of his eyes, he should be able to shoot lasers out of his eyes.
No, that's two totally different.
No, they're not.
technologies.
Lasers are just focused light.
The only problem I have with this is we were told specifically he was like made more human, and yet now he's got
not more human.
projector eyes.
Anywho, the funny thing is he kept answering the question correctly. He kept saying Jean-Luc Picard, and then he just thought, and Jean-Luc kept going, yes, but he was actually answering the question, which I thought was cool, which we find out here, because they stole Picard's remains. So not only do they have Kirk's remains, they have Picard's remains. What the hell is Section 31 doing with this stuff? Like, why? Why
Because
do they need
they're working on making Picard.
Picard? Oh, to finally settle that argument. We'll just smash them together.
Picard.
Picard.
Yeah,
Picard.
it's the Tuvix answer to the great captain debate.
So let's
Actually, what's really coming is Pikisco.
Yeah, right. Well, let's
Cisco was smart enough not to leave remains.
Part of the
just
fun
became
here,
a god, and that was it.
Well, part of the fun here is, what do you like? Is theorizing this stuff? Like, what do you guys think the changelings want Picard's body for, and how is it more valuable than that portal weapon?
I don't think the changelings are really after Picard. Somebody else.
Well,
they stole.
I was going to say, this all kind of leans into the idea that everybody seems to be leaning on is the changelings are not the actual bad guy.
No, they're not. Whoever that guy, because that guy's not a changeling. Whoever that guy is,
they're the stick. They are the Jem'Hadar this time, and somebody else is pulling the strings.
I think it's Nagilum at this point. I think the Nagilum.
You really think it's Nagilum?
Nagilum found Picard interesting.
He was a big talking mouth in space.
Yeah, but there was never any closure as to exactly where or what he was.
Yeah,
but he had insane power.
Yeah,
Borg. Clearly, the Borg. Do they want the Borg? Like they're gonna say, "Oh, he's got some Borg processor left in him or something in his remains that they couldn't."
What's funny is his dead body doesn't look much different from his live one.
His dead body actually looks a little younger.
So here we get poor old Riker. We cut back to this poor bastard getting punched in the face. I didn't think Starfleet did this kind of thing. And now points the phaser right at his head, and you think, oh no, and then the prick turns around, kills the other two that weren't changelings, and we find out It's actually
Amanda. I mean,
Vedic.
Vedic.
Yeah, look at that. And she takes Riker and F's off.
For a minute.
And
I
now
thought
he's
it was gonna be
laughing.
Odo.
He keeps getting punched, but he's just laughing it off. He's like, "You idiots really think after 35 years of loyalty, I'm gonna help you?" And then this is where Vadic's like, "Well, I don't think you're gonna do it for me, but you, look at that sad face. But you might do it for her."
Yeah.
I didn't even think about her being a changeling, but whoever said that earlier, wow, what a plot twist! What a plot twist if that's the
And it
case.
wasn't my idea. I read it
You
in the chat.
She'll reveal it while they're having their makeup sex.
Well, I wonder if that even enters Riker's mind, because it should. I mean, he's on a changeling ship. They just have to see it, the person to replicate them, walk into a holodeck and ask for a counseling session with Deanna Troi, and then boom, you're good.
You should be able to determine if it's her, because
but is it even going to enter?
connection.
Is it even going to enter his mind though to question her? Do you think?
Well, if he has the mental connection he supposedly has, some type of
Yeah, they when they
have a psychic
a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow, hey, we're doing pretty great. We got 40 people watching us right now in the chat. Thank you so much, guys. Do us a favor, or well, actually do Mike a favor. It's not my channel, but hit that like button for him, and if you don't already, subscribe. Every Thursday we talk Star Trek. It's called Nerd Fights, but we do it in a respectful way, and if anybody is disrespectful, they're no longer allowed here. And then Wednesdays we do Star Wars. So hit the bell for notifications. Is there anything else you want me to pimp for you, buddy?
Super chats.
And yeah, if you like the sound of my sexy, sultry voice saying super chat.
Well, no, I prefer the sexy, sultry sound of money in my bank account.
There you go.
Yeah, it crinkles a little differently than our voices do.
Yes.
But this was
It'll
the
help keep the lights on,
Yeah, this was the end of the show. This was the very last shot, and then it cuts to. I didn't include any of the credits, so you can take this down, and we can.
And what did she say? Like, oh,
we can all argue for the next 20 minutes because
She should have said Imzadi.
That's what I thought he was going to say, like, oh, Imzadi. But they just exchanged a look, which kind of mirrored. But then she said something, didn't she? She said, "Oh, Will,"
She
right?
says, "Oh, Will," yeah.
Oh, Will, yeah. So yeah, I don't know what to think. Well, it's two shills and two grumpy old men. Get it right, Deej. If you're going to insult us, at least get your facts straight.
Because remember, too, early on in
Daniel's Hot Topics. Hey, buddy, Deej, Eclectic Sirstas again. Sorry.
She made the comment to Riker about, do you think this is over or it's not over? There was that, or that, I forget who it was that said it of the two, but they had that discussion when Riker was finally talking to Deanna after they got out of the space embryo spectrum thing.
Yeah, 17
Cinnabon
seconds.
was the changeling. Cinnabon was the one who thought she could be a changeling.
Cinnabon was cool. Right on. Thank you, Cinnabon Bunny. I think that's. I didn't even think about that. And I hope
Cinnabon Bunny's got to like Strange New Worlds better because Strange New Worlds has Asian Kyle. So
Oh yeah.
But SVS Guru, thank you for the €5. Danny.
Super chat.
It's easy to test if she's a changeling. All Riker has to do is ask, "What did I feel when my son died?" And if her answer is not nothing, shoot her.
Heck yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, that's like a 7 to 9 booby trap, like when the repair job was going on. Say my name, Heisenberg.
I just assumed they let her kill her anyway.
Yeah.
Just in case it is the real her.
Yeah. So I went back, and the amount of ships that they stuffed around that museum station is significant. I'm sure if we just looked it up, you could find a full listing of them. But I saw a Romulan bird of prey, There is a Ferengi Marauder in there. The original Stargazer is in there.
Yeah, here we go.
Uh,
See, and there's an empty spot that's going to be for Enterprise F.
and that's of course where
they
they were quote unquote hiding the Titan for the
Yeah.
time being. Yeah.
Yeah.
How convenient that they happen to have an empty slot.
Well, the dude, they teased it already that the Enterprise F is being
No, but I'm just saying
decommissioned,
that. I mean, for the
and they
for
probably
the Titan. I mean,
they've been
hey, look, we have
preparing.
one ring open.
Well, that's because they've been preparing. It's not like I don't know, man. God, just
They probably got rid of whatever. ship
enjoy
was there.
things, man. Enjoy things.
The
Kind of like, yeah,
the weirdest ship that they actually have in here that I can see is they have a Nebula class with the great big photon torpedo frisbee.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out why is there a Nebula class up there. Maybe that's the Nebula class that showed up to rescue Picard at the end of Generations. But
Yeah, maybe.
Farragut.
It's famous because it was a rescue ship.
Yeah.
So because there's the Excelsior on the far side of the comms tower looks like it's probably the Enterprise B.
And SVS Guru, thank you for another €5.
Super chat.
Because now the empty spot is for the D once Geordi restores her. Well, I think
The
the
D's
D
been
is
destroyed.
considered lost in action.
Yeah.
Um,
Look, there's a
The
Romulan-
ring's not big enough because that's the fat one. It needs a bigger ring.
and Sir says,
How?
I don't get why the New Jersey is there unless it's the only non-refit Connie. I would guess the New Jersey is
Yeah.
probably the only surviving non.
Probably, only one that made
Because
it.
there were only 12 built, and most of them were destroyed during the original series. If you pay attention to the original series, a lot of the original Connies were destroyed.
So
Yeah, they love to
Enterprise
see that.
E
They dropped like flies.
was destroyed.
The Enterprise destroyed a couple of them. So
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some canonical off-screen hijinks that explains that the Enterprise E was destroyed. But I forget whether it's a
And
comic book or what the deal is, but it is
Yeah.
canon.
the A is the refit Cerstus because it would have been after Undiscovered Country because they were ordered back to space dock to be decommissioned, and that's when Kirk's like, he could only steal the ship for so long. He could only go straight on,
Right.
second star to the right and straight on till morning for so long.
Mm. But
Well, Bird put up less of a fight than I expect. I got more of a fight out of you. So, you want to do our final thoughts
Sure.
and our rating and
We'll
stuff?
go bottom to top since Bird likes the bottom. What was your final thoughts on this episode and your score out of 10, Bird?
Well, unlike last week, which was an FU out of 10, I actually gave this one an 8 out of 10. Thought it
Nice.
was easily the best episode.
Right on. Bird and I actually
Cool.
agree.
And
This is-
I understand why they gave the original reviewers the first 6 episodes.
yeah.
This
Yeah.
was the last one.
Yeah, and they say that, or at least Dave Collins says that he wishes they would release the last 2 together because he kind of made it sound like, I guess, you might actually kind of hate the penultimate episode, but then the finale kind of makes it better. And it just would've
He
been
also
better as
said
one
that the
piece.
next episode people probably wouldn't like.
Yeah,
He thought
yeah,
7 and 8 and 9 and 10 should be released
yeah,
together. So
yeah.
next week, probably not so much.
Yeah, we'll see though. But all right,
So
cool.
Bird and I will probably be very grumpy next week.
Probably. So okay, 8. What about you, Jace?
I would pretty much give this an 8 for a bunch of random reasons, not just storyline reasons. A lot of production things in here that I really liked. Like I was going on about earlier, the fact that they paid attention to the details of the ships that were from all the previous series and didn't just, throw in some quote unquote 25% different models because some poor schlub at a computer had to, crank out a model in, record time because they tapped him on the shoulder the day before.
Right.
And I say those things because we've heard lots of stories now that a lot of the poor CG guys are just getting abused like this. So,
Yeah.
but hats off to those guys because they really did a good job with that, and the production staff that were overseeing that to make sure that everything was done well. Anywhere where there was a little bit of, you know, the human element of things, like with Geordi and his 2 daughters, and the little bit of play that they had there with Picard's son, was perfectly fine. It was better than adequate. It was not annoying. Like I said earlier, it wasn't like all of a sudden we deviated into an episode of Dawson's Creek or something like that.
Right.
That moment when Geordi was talking to his daughter, the helmsman, about Sydney, about disappointment or not disappointment. The way they interacted back and forth, they could have hung that out a little differently, and I was very glad they didn't. They kept it a lot more realistic, a lot more stylized to the kind of interaction that you would have gotten with TNG characters. So, like, it didn't cut, like, because for me, it could have been, you know, girl power moment all of a sudden with the way.
So what are you giving it?
I'm giving it an 8.
8. So
Yeah.
Wow, 2 8s. If they hadn't had the creepy remains thing, I might have given this a 10. This is my favorite episode. It had so much
specifically. I mean,
right. Well, Kirk and then Picard, but yeah, I mean both are just. But the Kirk one bothered me a lot because, like, oh come on, man, you couldn't let him rest in peace. You know what I mean? You like, you know, anyway. You know, Deej, we're all entitled to our opinions, but
that's just hateful.
Yeah, you know.
I will even say that's hateful there, Deej.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm giving this one a 9. I have to, because if there's anything better, I'm saving that 10 for it. But right now, this is the best. This is the cream of the crop, and I don't mind. Like, yeah, 9, solid 9 out of 10 for me. I loved it.
And you know, I'm going to shock the world and say this was a good episode. Right.
Despite all the bitching I did.
Yeah, it's like, well, this makes it mean that much more for you, Danny. Like,
yeah, right.
He set you up, and then
criticism. I'm not going to sit there and glow about things that I don't think were great. I did say that the ships were beautiful. I do think that there were some great moments in this story. I thought that the Jack and Sydney story developing, I like.
Yeah, I do too.
You know, I think that Picard and Jack, their relationship, I'm starting to like better. I'm actually liking Riker and Worf better. But there's some stuff that I'm not liking as much. You know, I'm not liking the things like you know, just every episode they have to parade out a line o' member berries. The ships, I totally don't mind. Okay. They went to a location that is a ship museum. I'm going to expect to see that. And it did follow into the plot because they needed a cloaking device. I didn't have a problem with that at all. And I did love seeing some of the classic designs.
Hey,
it was
Captain
so
Phantom
cool.
Nerd, Chris Resclaff. Oh, we had some people come in like, oh, Doss, we missed Doss Wolfen. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for coming by and checking, you know, giving a shit what we think about this. Or maybe you just like watching us bicker. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's fun to watch people that have different opinions talk every now and then, as opposed to the echo chambers you get on so many of these shows.
Right. For sure.
But I mean, that one shot, and you showed it a couple of times when we were talking, where you see space dock from above and you see all the ships.
All the ships. Yeah.
Ships you never thought you would see in a single shot together.
Right.
You know, whoever thought that they would see a Nebula class, a Stargazer class, the TOS Connie, a Katinga class, you know, all these different ships in one shot at the same time.
Romulan bird of prey, Klingon bird of prey.
Right. All these
Romulan warbird.
And not only that, many of these ships, specific ships that we know from specific movies or episodes. You know, so that's really cool.
Space
and
for
no, I don't watch the Ready Room searchers because I hate to admit it, but I do have a personal grudge against the host of the Ready Room. So, I don't watch that show.
Hey, co-host, throw up that the Space Force Girl Force JJ West fans. I think I have not seen you before, but thank you, welcome. I always thought Kirk was taken by the time ship future crew anyway, but either way, Kirk lives. Legend. I don't know if he lives, bro. I think they just got his body and they're gonna do some, unscrupulous.
Kirk is coming. You just wait.
Kirk.
Hey, that would just fit with the whole bird theme going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
This season, the Shrike and the bird people.
So I enjoyed it overall, but when they were parading out the member berries at Daystrom, it was infuriating to me because you know what? We saw that in episode 1 when we were panning across Picard.
It makes sense. It's basically their Area 51. Like, why would you not expect to see stuff?
It's not that I didn't expect to see it.
They actually wanted to put a whole lot more into that scene, but they didn't have the money.
They did, but not every episode has to have a literal camera pass across a bunch of member berries. When you do that every episode, guess what it does? It makes it less special every single time.
I don't know. It just feels like that warm blanket I'm cozying up in.
I understand that, but to me, it makes it so that it's like, if it just makes it less exciting every time you do it because you're doing it every time. And I don't want to see that every single episode. I like this. Like, I will tell you, if this was the first time we got member berries was when we saw Space Dock with all those ships, mind would have been blown. Right?
My mind was still blown. You got two. You're standing.
Mine wasn't. I was like, this is cool. But then when we watched Rafi and Worf and Riker on I was like, ugh. And Thomas wants to know, so do lower decks member berries infuriate me? Not as much. And the reason is because they're done as jokes. They're not done to be serious. You're supposed to get the feels from them.
Okay, so you're gonna book in this
when they're in a car chase and you see a guy in a Captain Pike wheelchair screeching down the road. That's not meant to be like, oh, nostalgia. That's supposed to make you crack up, right? So it's not the same thing.
What did Riker say about Moriarty? At least somebody's consistent, right? Something like that. That's you. You started. Your hot take was member berries. Your review is member berries. But you said you liked it, so
I did enjoy it overall. So I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10.
A 7. All right, that's respectable.
A solid good.
I'm surprised.
Even though, but my gripes are the member berries for sure, and it's going to drive me. Hey, my name is Salty. Look, you guys are going to get all the glowy stuff out of the way. I don't need to. Somebody's got to point out the crap. So,
right? Yeah.
There
we go. There we go.
Don't get me started about the freaking Genesis 2. Oh,
what? We talked about it, right? Go ahead.
Where are they deployed Professor Farnsworth to start making doomsday devices there?
I got a funny idea to tell you in the back room before you take off.
Okay.
I actually have an idea that I wanted to talk to you about too. So we'll get both those out of the way. All right. So anything else? I'm a cranky Trekker. Salty.
Give me Genesis.
Right. So with that, I think we pretty darn good show. Thank you, Bird of Prey, for coming on and not being a jerk.
No, it was great.
I think he's asleep.
Never a jerk.
Okay. No. Well. Okay, not being a Kurogan. Let's put it that way.
Get off.
Yeah, where was the freaking Doomsday Machine? Why didn't they have that orbiting the station?
I bet you they wanted it, but they didn't have the money.
I'm surprised. Why? That would have been cheap. That's an easy 3D. Look behind me. I got a 3D printed Doomsday Machine right there. They could have gotten that off the internet for $50.
They should have floated it directly above the center of the station or something.
Yeah, it would not have been hard for them to get that.
That would have been funny.
And so, and it's not like, I mean, it's just a big chunk of neutronium they could have tractored into position. So, you know, so yeah, they absolutely should have had the Doomsday Machine there. But anyway, so with that, remember, guys, you are the salt of the earth. I am the salty Trekker. Danny, he's well, you know,
The Dork Knight.
still waiting to
that.
pass that screening. And then we got the cranky Canadian, but he is in fact clean shaven today. So, you know, he's one step up from Danny, who we all know, to the most important woman in his life, does not like that Scrabble on his face. So he's going to get rid of it right after the show, right?
No, I said I'm going to do it in the morning. Like
No.
I shave in the morning. Man. I take a shower, you know, I shave.
He doesn't.
I got like a mirror in the shower.
He
and
doesn't
everything.
get it. He doesn't.
Takes me
understand.
2 weeks at a time to get it, so you know.
We
He'll
gotta
come around.
you guys got to get educated. And Bird, again, thank you for coming on and being a gentleman and less of a Kurogan than you usually are.
Kapla!
I'm starting to feel insulted here.
Kapla!
Kapla.
And so remember, live long and perspire, because that's a thing, I guess. Maybe that should be my sign off. Live long.
Hasta la vista, baby.